First of all, I'm President of the County Commissioners, Paul Haller, and I'd like to welcome everybody to our storage building dedication. And it's always exciting when you open any new building in your county, regardless of the size. And it's the fact that this is just a storage building. It's more than a storage building, and how it came to where it is at this point. This became an idea in my first term in discussion with the clerk of court, Seth Michael, and this has taken about 6 years to come to this point right here. And Seth brought it to my attention that we needed storage for all the county records, and because everybody was being moved out of their offices. And so Seth and I had talked about it. We talked about it. We tried to come up with different ideas. And finally, here about a year and a half ago, we found this piece of property, which the county owned, was all grassed. We have no idea why it wasn't blacktopped and used as parking. So we thought there's a perfect spot to put the county storage building. So this building will only be used for county storage and all the valuable records of our county history. And so with that said, everybody that's here, there's so many, all the dignitaries are here. We got the auditor, we got the recorders hiding over here. We got our prosecuting attorney, our director of EMS. I got several folks from the Historical Society. I got the commissioners, economic development, the mayor of Jackson. I got members of the Hughes family and Mr. Irvin from the Historical Society, which they'll know here in just a minute why they're here. But I want to bring Seth Michael up, our clerk of courts, to kind of give you an idea how we put this together and kind of the reasoning why two of the former clerks of courts became very important in the role of financing this building. Seth?
Well, I didn't write anything up, and I probably won't talk long. And every time I say that, I talk longer. But essentially, a lot of people aren't aware of the history of title fees, auto title fees, and the money that stays here in the county, and the things that the clerk's office or the clerks in general have had to do over the years to adjust to be able to keep that money here. In 1992, they would have converted to a computer system. And at that time, you would have had to take your titles to the county in which you live. So if you bought a car in Columbus, you had to bring your title back. So in our reality, prior to 1992, the clerks didn't have to do anything for their business. It had to go to county residency. Well, when they went on computer system, they knew that in the next year or two, they were going to do cross-county titling, which meant you could go anywhere in the state to have your title. So the dealers and the banks were going to start probably taking their work to the local office. So from what I've been told and the indications that I've seen through records, Bob Hughes was clerk in 92, and he could see that coming. He instantly went to his local dealers and his banks and said, we can't lose business. We have to figure out a way that you send this business to us. So if you finance something from somebody from another county, we need to be able to keep that title here. So he started fostering those relationships. Shortly after that, unfortunately, he passed away while he was in office, and Bob Walton came in next. Fast forward 10 or so years after the cross-county titling that did come into effect shortly after the computer system, Bob became the deputy registrar and became over the BMV because the small counties lost so much money from cross-county titling that was one way for him to get that money back. That money between Bob Hughes' steps clear to Bob Walton's step as deputy registrar has left us now where our title administration fund has a significant amount of money that flows through it. And it is limited to what it can be used for, but we can declare surpluses to do things like permanent improvements. Hence, things like this, things that the general fund may not be able to afford. Things like a significant portion of the courthouse roof was paid for from Title Administration Fund. The new windows were paid for out of Title Administration Fund. The front courthouse steps were paid for from Title Administration Fund. The parking lot. I mean, a lot of the significant permanent improvements that you've seen over the years has either been paid for in cooperation with the clerk's office and the commissioners, or at least a significant portion of it coming from that fund. We typically don't have the ability to bail out general fund budgets with that money or office budgets, but we can significantly help with purchases and things like that. So we felt like it was no more fitting. Are we get into the name, or you're doing that? You want to do that?
Go right into it.
Well,
if you want to.
Well, we felt like it was no more fitting than as we approached this project. We've talked about this with different commissioners, and I think I remember August of 2007 when I came in. Within a week of taking office, I had this gentleman in my office, and he just wanted to stop in and chat and see some things and share some of his concerns. And I said, we're going to take those seriously. And I know there were some pauses at different times where I felt like even myself, well, this is probably never going to happen. Well, a few years ago, it started becoming a little more talkative, and what could we really do? So that being said, I don't feel like this building would have ever been built without 3 different Roberts. So we didn't want to clog up a plaque with 3 different last names. So thanks to the English dictionary and S apostrophe, I'll let Paul unveil the rest of it. So
I'd be remiss, though, if we first introduce who built this thing. And Randy Evans Construction, standing right over there. Randy Evans Construction did a great job. Beautiful building. And then our architect was RVC, which is John Stevens back here. We appreciate all the work that he did bringing this together. But what we did, and Seth, I want you to come up. You can help me unveil it. But what we did, we took that name, the Roberts, and we've named it the Roberts Record Building in loving memory of the Clerk of Courts, Robert Hughes and Robert Walton, and in honor of Robert Irvin, local historian. So I would also be remiss. Ed Armstrong was, was commissioner at the time when we put this idea together, and Ed's not with us here today. But I wanted to also mention Ed Armstrong as well. But I know this is a surprise to Mr. Irvin. He didn't know anything about it, but Mr. Irvin is such a part of the Jackson County history and the books that he's wrote, and we keep him up in the office because we refer to him for county history a lot. And so it was just a coincidence that all 3, the first names were Robert, and it was just fitting. It was just meant to be. And so everybody come in, take a look, and you'll see everything's caged in there. If we could use it as a jail, we probably could, but I wish we could, but as much as we need one. But those 3 trailers sitting out there will be unloaded and brought in here. And then there's other other boxes and other offices will start coming down here. And so forevermore, this will be the Jackson County storage, keeping Jackson County's history safe and secure. So I want to thank everybody for coming. Please come in the air conditioning, and because it is climate controlled, and get out of the sun for a few minutes. So we want to try to do a photo op with at least everybody that's here, and we'll just kind of spread out here and do a photo op, and then we'll go inside.